Hey there, I'm Jessica. Welcome to Shamu Stadium. How's everyone doing today? You ready to see Killer Whales up close? Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. Your curiosity is wonderful. And just like you, it was my own curiosity about nature that led me to working right here at SeaWorld. We receive so many questions about killer whales each and every day, from kids and grown-ups of all ages. And we've connected those questions to our Killer Whales Up Close book, and we connected the book to the screen so you'll be able to see everything. Now, if you're ready to get started, it's my privilege to introduce you to Mike.
Jessica, how's everybody doing today? Great, you guys ready to meet some killer whales? All right, awesome. Well, first up, it's my pleasure to introduce you to our family of killer whales. We have our matriarch. She is a mother, and she is about 40 years old. She's going to be doing a bow over here with her 2.5-year-old son. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Kalia and Makani. Next up is Kasaka's 14-year-old son, coming right over here in the middle. He's one of our most athletic animals. Here's Nakai. All right, and coming out of the back, we have Kalia, who is a brand new mother of a calf who just turned 1-year-old last week. Right over here, coming out very fast as they can go. Here is Kalia and Amaya. All right, we've got something special planned for you guys right now. We're going to have Kasatka and her kids and her granddaughter perform a group behavior for you. Now, this is showing how our whales can cooperate with each other. We've given them a fish, and what they're going to do is share it right here in the middle of the pool. They're going to pass it back and forth. So let's see Kasatka and her kids and her grandkid play with this fish. Let's see what goes on here. Here at Shamu Stadium, we have a pod of 11 killer whales, 5 males and 6 females. They range in age from 1-year-old all the way up to 51 years old.
You can see how different each killer whale is. But did you know there are even bigger differences in the wild? Would you be surprised if I told you there are actually different kinds of killer whales? Scientists refer to them as ecotypes. They live in different habitats, they have different body types, and they even pursue different kinds of food. While killer whale ecotypes are different, they're all considered members of one species, or Sinus orca. One of the questions we get asked all the time is, how big does a killer whale grow to be? Well, that answer depends on which ecotype you're talking about. Is it a 16-foot female in Iceland, or a 30-foot male in Antarctica? Let's take a closer look.
The remarkable thing about killer whales, no matter which type, is that they are found throughout our global ocean, from the Arctic to the Antarctic, and literally everywhere in between. They are found in so many different habitats and depend on such a variety of marine life for survival that killer whales are more intertwined with the fate of our ocean than any other marine animal. Truly, these awesome animals are the living symbol of our ocean, representing so much more than any species.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it again for our killer whale family. Okay, let's check out some of your great questions. Here we go. So many people wonder about our trainers. In fact, raise your hand if you've ever wanted to be an animal trainer. What? That's a lot. Then you should meet our team of dedicated trainers who interact with our family of whales every day.
Missy? Christy? Our safety trainer, Michelle. Once again, I'm Mike. Connor. And the other Mike.
Our trainers are so passionate about what they do here every day. And that reminds me of another one of your great questions. Here it is. Do the trainers talk to the whales? I'll let you answer that one, Mike.
Yeah, that is a great question. We may not talk to the whales like you and I talk to each other, but we have developed and taught them different hand signals in order for us to communicate with them. This ongoing communication helps build strong relationships with our whales, and we use that strong connection to help answer important questions through research.
Here at SeaWorld, we have a unique opportunity to conduct research about killer whales, asking important questions that can only be answered in a setting like this. So much of what we learn here is being used to help killer whales in the wild. Of course, there are other questions that can only be explored by studying whales in the ocean. By exploring questions both at SeaWorld and in the wild, our combined research gives all of us a better understanding of killer whales and the places they live.
And that's why I call working together. Research flowing in both directions, from our park to the wild and back again. That way everyone benefits. Okay, let's view another question. Oh, perfect! This individual wonders why whales jump, and I just happen to have that emoji. Look! You know, killer whales communicate in a lot of different ways. Sometimes they vocalize, and sometimes they use their bodies. A jump like that is called a breach. They're making a sound on top of the water. When a whale uses their body to slap the water, it creates a commotion, both above and below the surface. This could be to show their excitement, display a little power, or even to get the attention of other whales. Some of you may have heard about Kalia's calf, Amaya. Our SeaWorld social media fans actually helped us name her. And here at SeaWorld, we've watched newborn calves rely on their mothers for everything, from the very first moment of birth.
As a calf grows and gains some independence, it is looked after by other whales in the pod too. They help the mother protect the calf, teach it survival skills, and show the calf how to romp and play. Killer whales live in family-like groups known as pods. Like human families, their pods can range in size, from just a handful of whales up to a few dozen.
Okay, here's one of those really important questions. Does having a killer whale breeding program at SeaWorld help whales in the wild? Absolutely! Our successful breeding program helps us understand the developmental needs of pregnant mothers, newborn calves, and young killer whales. This is critical information because that is the time when killer whales are most vulnerable in the wild. Gaining this kind of knowledge is only possible through the research we're able to do right here at SeaWorld.
Recently, SeaWorld worked with researchers from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, to help them develop a model for identifying when a killer whale is pregnant by looking at aerial images of the animal in the wild. Prior to this cooperative effort, where SeaWorld provided direct, unparalleled access to our pregnant whales, researchers had no solid way of knowing whether or not a female in the wild was carrying a calf.
Wow, now that's a lot of questions. Believe it or not, we get them every day.
We sure do. Killer whales communicate using all sorts of sounds. Let's listen. Each killer whale, each pod has their own different dialect, their own set of calls. But don't forget, they also use body language.
Sometimes Sometimes they blow bubbles, bump into each other, or even scratch each other with their teeth, causing rake marks. These are the multi-line marks that you may see on the skin of some dolphins and killer whales. This is just one of the ways these animals display dominance over one another during social interactions, both in the wild and here at SeaWorld. We've just learned how killer whales use vocalizations and body language to communicate with each other. But you remember how we communicate with them? That's right, through signals. Here at SeaWorld, we communicate with our whales, and we want the next generation to be able to do the same.
Well, this next part is my favorite part of the show. This is where we get to get some help from you, the audience. Right over here with Christy and Kasatka, we have Sydney. And right over here, we have Bailey and Connor with Makani. Now, they're going to help us use some of those hand signals that we've been talking about. Looks like Sydney is working a little wave over there with Kasatka. And Makani's maybe not doing a dance. We'll see if that happens. Sometimes they can get behaviors correct, sometimes they don't get them correct. That's absolutely fine. Looks like Kasatka's doing a little dance right there with Sydney. Makani's just making some vocals over there with Bailey and Connor. All right, looks like Kasatka might have a present for... Oh, whoa! A little splashing going on there. Makani likes that part. Very nice, you guys. All right, well, thank you two very much for helping us out today. We want to give you some whale tail necklaces so you can remember your trip to SeaWorld today. Everybody, let's give it up for Sydney and Bailey.
Looks like we have some future animal trainers on our hands. Come on, don't you think they did a great job? Awesome! Oh, here's another great question. Who takes care of you, Shamu? I love that question because it lets us give you a peek at how much we care for these extraordinary animals. Hey, Mike, are the trainers ready?
We're definitely ready. All right, now you guys are going to see some of the most important training that we can do. It's called husbandry training. And this basically allows us to have the whales participate in their own health care. Now, if you look right down here, we've got Christy and Kasatka. She has asked Kasatka to roll over, and eventually Kasatka will give Christy her tail fluids. Now, this is where the veterinarians can actually draw blood from the animals. There's a very thin layer of skin there, and the veterinarians can go in and draw blood to see if the whales are progressing well, and to even see if some of the females are pregnant. Now, the slide out behavior that you guys are going to hopefully see here pretty soon, right up there, we've got Nakai sliding up on the stage. While that looks very nice and very awesome for you photographers, it actually serves a greater purpose. We can ask the whales to slide up onto a giant scale that we have in the back, and we can weigh the whales every single week to make sure that they're growing properly. Now, the high energy behaviors that you're going to see during the show not only happen in the wild and also here at SeaWorld, and that helps us make sure that the whales are getting all of the daily exercise that they need. So if you see Kalia, she's going to do a small jump in the center, in the side of the pool, and right here at the center of the pool, here comes Kalia.
I know that our guests may also wonder, how much does a killer whale need to eat every day to stay healthy?
Well, just like you and I, killer whales have different dietary needs. Baby Amaya is only eating about 16 pounds of food every single day because she's still nursing. She gets a lot of nutrition still from her mother. Now, our biggest whale, his name is Ulysses. He is almost 10,000 pounds. He eats 185 pounds of fish every single day. Now, it's important to note that no matter what the whales do, they're going to get every single fish that they need each and every day.
Because we've been able to determine how much killer whales eat at different stages throughout their life, researchers in the field can use that information to determine if ocean habitats are healthy enough for killer whale populations to thrive. And that kind of information is invaluable.
Now, food, exercise, and daily examinations from our veterinarians are not the only thing that our killer whales need. They also need the kind of mental stimulation and challenges that can be provided by our trainers. So if you look right up here on the big screen, you can see some of the EEDs, the environmental enrichment devices that we can give our whales. That's basically a big code word for toys. We have a giant toy box at the back that the whales can play with. They seem to enjoy some kelp right from Mission Bay. They can eat non-flavored, non-sugar gelatin and play with a lot of different toys that we can give them. Some of them sink, some of them float. Sometimes they just throw them up in the air and catch them. Now, another great thing that we can do, and one of my favorite things to do with the whales, is just hanging out and relating. So Missy up there has a big water hose on Amaya and Kalia. That's just basically giving them a little shower. Christy's relaxing with Kasatka, reinforcing her that way, just hanging out. Mike's up there with Nakai, and Connor's over there with Makani, just giving a nice little rub down. Now, it's important, the main thing that we have seen, the best interaction and the best enrichment that these animals can possibly have is social interaction with other whales and our team of experienced trainers.
Okay, how about a question for all the kids out there? I know you all want to know, who would win if a killer whale squared off with a great white shark? How many of you think the shark would win? Raise your hands. Okay, now how many of you think the killer whale would win? That's right, the killer whale. You see, a shark hunts alone, while a killer whale hunts with a pod of killer whales. So it's not even a competition. Killer whales have even been known to hunt a blue whale. Do you know how big a blue whale is? At over 80 feet, it's the largest animal ever to have existed on the planet. But killer whales can hunt these huge animals because they coordinate, collaborate, and cooperate. They work together as a group to overcome challenges much bigger than themselves. We can learn a lot from them about how to overcome the challenges our ocean faces. In fact, if we collaborate like the killer whales, we could change the fate of the ocean, and maybe even the world. Awesome, we've got some more questions. These are some really common questions that always come in. Here we go, first one. Why do some dorsal fins curve? That's a great question. You see, dorsal fins don't have any skeletal support, such as bones or cartilage, to support their height and weight. They're made completely of connective tissue. If the animal spends more time at the surface of the water, the tissue in the fin may weaken and the fin may start to bend. We occasionally see curved dorsal fins both in the wild and here at SeaWorld. Next question. How fast can they swim? Well, depending on their body size, some killer whales can swim close to 28 miles per hour. Check it out. Not bad, right? Next question. How much water can their tails splash? Well, their tail, or flukes as they're called, are really strong and can fling a whole lot of water about halfway up these stands. Last question. If all the whales splashed all at once, could they get the whole audience wet? Well, maybe not the whole audience. Wow, now that was refreshing. You know, killer whales are so inspiring. In fact, the more we learn about them, the more we realize they represent more than just themselves. Truly, to better understand the killer whale is to better understand the ocean. Never stop wondering about the natural world around you. Be sure to visit SeaWorldSanDiego.com for your free download of the killer whales up close with and share it with your family and friends.
From all of us to all of you, thank you for coming, thank you for wondering, thank you for caring. We hope you enjoyed this presentation of Killer Whales Up Close, and we hope to see you tonight at 5:30 for Shamu Christmas Miracles. Have a great rest of your day right here at SeaWorld San Diego. Bye-bye, everybody.